Oh, yay. Okay, we are live. Technology. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Substack Live. I am here. I am just checking to see how this experience shows up on the platform. I don't know if it's going to show up on the computer, but here we are on the digital version on the app. And I am in a learning curve with this thing, and I think it's so cool. I mean, it's not that steep of a learning curve because, hi, we've been out here using tech like this for a minute and a half. But if we're new to each other, hi, hello, I am Amber Liliestrom. I am a business mentor. Oops. Okay. Walgreens just wanted to call me. Okay. Oh, look at it. Flipped my little camera around. That's so funny. Okay. So I am a business mentor. I am a writer. I'm an author. I am a podcast host. I'm a mom to two awesome kids. And I am really excited to be here with you guys on this platform and to be using this space to really show up in what feels like a more cohesive capacity. And it's funny because I've been doing this for 12 years. I've been business coaching. I've been in business and marketing for 22 years. And I've created thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of content. But there's just something really exciting about a new place, a new space to show up and to create and to offer insight and create connection. And so, hello to my friends that are watching right now. All of my students who are part of the Homeward program, which is my signature business building program, have access as paid subscribers. And so it's so fun to see your names here. And I've been loving welcoming in new people into this community and meeting new people from the platform. And I think this is the place I want to begin when I talk about what I'm really focusing on right now in my business. And my hope is that these tenets that I'm going to pull out will be really relevant to you. And this is the best offering that I can hand over to you right now as we really focus on showing up in our gifts in the world, in these businesses that we've created in 2026, when things feel like they're completely upside down. And yet we have to keep on going. We have to keep on creating. We have to keep sharing what we are doing with the world. And it's a choice, It's a choice each morning to wake up when maybe you don't feel your best or you feel discouraged or you feel like, what the heck is the point? There's only one person that liked my post or three people that watched my story. But I think, you guys, that we have got to transcend that thinking, because the reality is that the only way to grow is with consistency and with putting enough seeds in the ground so that the seeds can actually crack and sprout and become something more, right? And what I see so often is that people stay tethered to the shield of outward success. And this is an interesting way that I'm saying this, right? They identify themselves with their accomplishments and then live an entire life from that vantage point. And what I really think the reason why we're here is so that we can connect with each other, is so that we can share from the offering within and give that to other people. And surely we've got to think about ways in which we can do that more strategically. But I'm going to tell you, and this is the real beat drop, the most important strategy in your business in 2026 and forever, but especially right now, is caring about people and caring about people and helping people enough, right? Like caring enough so that you get out of your own way, so that you untether yourself from these old shadow story beliefs and transcend into, as Richard Rudd in the Gene Keys talks about, into the gift, so that you can activate that and share that with the people that you are here to help. Okay? That's really what we're doing here. That's really the goal, is to show up and serve and to give from your cup and to serve from what you have. That's the bottom line. But what I see so often, you guys, and I really see this over on Instagram a lot. Um, what is so refreshing about this platform is that, at least in my algorithm, I don't have people shouting into the void telling me how to grow my Substack and how to get more followers and all this stuff. It's just like, it's so refreshing to be away from that. And thus, I am subconsciously not trying to create for some sort of formula. It's like there are no guardrails here. And so therefore I'm just creating from what I'm creating. And I highly recommend that. And I'm taking that back over to Instagram PS because I'm not killing that platform just yet. But it's a place where it feels really pure. And so the first thing is just like deep care. And then what can I give? So here's the next piece. What can I give? How can I be uncommonly generous? How can I make what I'm doing in my business feel like a gift to people? How can I keep giving? And some of you might say, "Oh, I feel like I do that, but I don't want people to take advantage, or how do I know what I should charge for?" And I think that when your offers are set up in a specific way to create a specific outcome or at least a specific experience, that part's not that confusing. And to me, I would rather give way more to demonstrate value because ultimately what I believe and what I know to be true is you can't get the type of transformation that I offer in my coaching work in a quick live or in a one Instagram post or in like a free daily abundance challenge, right? It's like I'm going to give you things that are going to activate you. And when you want to do the deeper work, that's when it comes back to the coaching and back to my offerings and back to my programs. And so one of the ways that I'm activating this month, which is really fun, and I'm so obsessed with how this is coming through. This yesterday morning, I woke up at like 4 a.m. and one of my cats was sick and I was helping her and I was just awake and I was just up. And I thought, what do we really need to be focusing on in February? And it just hit me. Love. We need to be focusing on love. We need to be focusing on the thing that we say that we want most. And we need to be centering it. And so I thought, okay, cool. Love that. What would feel really fun? What would make me feel all like lovey-dovey in my business? And it was like, I'm going to do a 28-day fall in love activation. And I'm going to put together a calendar. So every single day of the month, my community, my homeward women can go and do something, physically activate for themselves or their business to bring more love forward. And here's the reason I want to talk about this, because this isn't just like some cutesy on theme thing. PS. This is the real deal stuff. And I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, and this could be a little bit affronting, and I'd love for you to pop in the chat for me what comes up. Do you love your clients? And I mean that. Do you love your clients? I know some of the names of you watching, I know that you do. Do you love what you're creating on a regular basis throughout the week? Like, do you love it? Do you love sitting down to your desk to work on things? Do you love thinking about what you're going to do next, what you're going to create next? Some of you are saying yes. Yay. Here's what I want to say. If you're like, oh, you feel a pit in your stomach, it doesn't mean that you need to burn down your business. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. But what it means is we've got to get back to the love. We got to get back to feeling loving again around our business and around ourselves. Total transparency. There have been seasons where I've really struggled in my relationship with myself. And by the grace, honestly, the love that I have for my clients and the love that I have for what I'm writing about and what I'm creating in my business has buoyed me through those seasons of hard relationship with myself. And I think it's a really symbiotic thing. I think it's very interdependent. And I really am grateful for that because I'm not going to be always in perfect harmonious relationship with myself every minute of every day of the week. And also likewise in my business, but these two things give back and forth to each other. So I want to ask you, do you love what you're doing in your business right now? Do you love what you're doing in February? If you don't, this is your chance to change it. This is your chance to decide to do something completely different. You can literally just scrap all your plans of maybe things that you've already put down that you're going to do and just do something completely different. You're in charge. So what I'm really excited about is today, I'm having like my own little arts and crafts moment over here. On the Fall in Love February on the calendar, I just pulled up on my computer. Today's is write your clients' names on heart-shaped Post-its. Okay, very, very specific over here. And put them up on the wall of your workspace so you can see their names and beam them love every day. There's this passage, and I don't have it with me right now, from Mark Nepo's book, The Book of Awakening, which is my most favorite book in the history of time, by the way. Hands down, if they were like, what is the one book you're going to bring? Well, I don't want to bring it to the grave because it'll, that you'll leave behind for your children. It is The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And there's this one passage, and I forget what date it is, but it's called Count by Touching, where he tells a story of his friend and how they were counting something, and like she had to put her hands on it to count it. And I realized like that's how I count. I count by touching. I feel the experience of my life by touching it, by being intimate with life, by feeling the mug in my hands. So when I was just writing the names of my beautiful clients on these Post-its, I'm only like, I don't even know if I'm halfway through Homeward. I don't think that I am. I'm going to run out of pink. I actually just ordered more. My heart was exploding. My heart was swelling seeing your names. Let me show you what I've done so far. Okay, look. There you guys are. There's some of you. I got more to do. Okay. So that's just day 2. That's just day 2. And it's your names are in my office. And so literally like all day, when I'm here, I'm just going to be able to look up and see you. And some of you might be thinking, well, I don't have that many names to put on Post-its. And I would just say to you, like, that's not your business. Look at the camera just switched. That's so weird. That's not your business. That's my business, and your business is your business. And what matters is the names on the hearts. What matters is how you feel about those names on the hearts and how vested you are in the journey with them and how deeply you care about the work that they are doing with you. That's the thing that matters. And do you feel the heart work of that? I feel like we've been so pulled away by all of these like marketing strategies about how we're supposed to be doing things. And I'm just telling you, it's so much simpler than it seems. But here's the next part. Okay. And this is going to make some of you little lovebirds uncomfortable. You have to show up in your relationship. You have to show up in your relationship. Okay. So, what do I mean by that? Well, in 2026, the ways in which we show up in our relationship with people maybe that we don't know yet or that we have proximity to, but we're not like talking to them every day, is through the content that you create. And if you want to swap out the word content because it gives you the ick, is through the things that you create, is through the pieces that you write, the podcasts that you record, the videos that you record on these screens, is through the little musings and the notes and the little posts and wherever you choose to do that. And what I think is cool about Substack, for me at least, is it's just like sort of broken this whole thing wide open. And I can look at my specific clients and say, ooh, Heather, I think you're good over here. Ooh, Liz, I think you should focus on this over here. Ooh, Rosemary, I think you should be on Substack, right? It's like I'm talking to my clients. And because I work so intimately with the people that I coach, I'm helping you create strategy for the specific platform that is most applicable to you in your business. So my question to you is, drop it in the chat if you want to. What is that? Like, what is that platform for you? I'm showing up in 2 places, Substack and Instagram. The rest of them, be gone with you. I could care less. LinkedIn, I've got a profile. I'm not trying to work over there. I'm not trying to post over there. I can't. I deleted TikTok completely. I don't even want that on my phone. Bye. Facebook, whatever. That's where I like show pictures of my cats and my kids. And on Instagram stories, I love talking to my people on Instagram stories and sharing daily downloads and infusions. And so these are the places where I'm in the regular, virtual version of the relationship. The other piece is like being in person, right? Being in person with people. And then this next part, which is really like the 4th piece. I just kind of went fast over that though. And I feel like I need to hold there for a second. if you're watching this, my sense is that you're sprinkling 1, 2, maybe 3 seeds a week, and then you're like, I don't have any fruit. I don't have any vegetables growing. And I'm here to tell you, you got to put more seeds in the ground. And the way that I'm putting more seeds in the ground is honestly just diving into my writing and having fun with it. Like, I wrote this email for my community this morning outside of Substack. I'm just feeling prolific right now. I haven't felt this way in a really long time. And I'm a writer. And so what's happening is like my writer is finding her voice. I wrote a very truthy email this morning about what it's like in my house these days with my 3-year-old son and his ferocious appetite for being around me 24 hours a day, and how that creates this like beautiful tension for me. And how I'm navigating that in real time and not making any part of it wrong. There's just an isness to it. And I love it. I love the season that I'm in. I love the way that I'm doing my life right now. But I'm writing about it. I'm telling that. I'm bringing that forward. And so I want to know for you guys, like, are you showing up? Like, is there quote unquote skin in the game? Are you in relationship? What are the offerings that you're putting forward in the connection point with people? And then this is the next piece. Here's the deal. You've heard people use the term trust recession. Okay. So, how can you be trust centric? What I know about the clients that work with me in my Elevate Mastermind and mentorship, that join Homeward, that come into one-to-one coaching, that are doing money code sessions and things like this, it's not like a first rodeo situation, right? They're like listening to my podcast for a while. I remember one time I was talking to my client, Jen, and she was feeling really frustrated because she was like, gosh, like, where are these leads? And so we went back and we looked at how many emails I had sent her before she joined Elevate, which is my mentorship, my mastermind. We have an in-person retreat actually coming up next month in March. I'm so excited. And it was like 150 emails. Like 100, maybe it was 100 emails that she received before she joined. Now, some of you are like, wow, that's not a great um, conversion timeline. And I'm here to tell you, Jen was a member of Elevate for like 18 months or something. Incredible client to work with. She's super active in Homeward. I adore her. And I love getting to continue to support her on her journey. And so I'm telling you this because I think that most of us here we're just not really showing up in relationship to the people that we want to be in relationship with as clients. We're sort of shortchanging it and then getting frustrated because we're not getting the result that we want. And so, where do you want to double down on that? And if this were a real relationship that you were in, if you thought about, when you're getting on the screen, and I'm talking to you guys right now, and there are 10 of you watching live with me, that there are 10 incredible people right now watching this live with me. I'm building our connection in our relationship. I am planting seeds there. I am showing up because you matter, because I want to have this conversation with you. And so every time I get on a story or I get on something, I'm in the middle of creating a reel right now. I'm talking to the actual people in my community. What does that look like for you? And can you start hosting some things? And here's the little like rub part. Will your ego let you? If you have one of those voices inside that's like, it's not good enough, it's never good enough, it's just like, guys, it's so boring. It's just never going to be good enough if that's the story. It's just going to continue to go like that. If you're somebody who has a really loud inner critic, and I have one of those, so I can really authoritatively speak to this. I was raised to be humble. Like, don't brag about yourself, right? And I believe that a lot of us were. Drop in the chat if that was you. I'm so curious to know this. I'm actually like wanting to do a little bit of research on this. Because, well, at least in the gene keys, this is so interesting. So the gene key 31, I believe it's 31, is humility. Hold on. I want to tell you this because I think this is so profound. Yeah. So gene key 31, the shadow. Okay, hold on. The city is humility. The gift is leadership. But the shadow, and this is crazy, the shadow of humility is arrogance. Arrogance. So vanity was a big sin for you, Rosemary. Yeah. So you don't always have to be the center of attention, Kelly. Okay. We're on to something here. So here's the thing, though. All right, I wanted to highlight this piece. The repressive nature. This was me. This feels like a little ugh, for me to say this out loud, but I'm just going to go there. So I've always wanted to be humble. And I actually have a story of a friend. One of my friends and clients, Amber Housley, said this to me. She's like, oh my God, why do you always tell this story? Because it was a big moment for me that I really needed. And she said to me, this is like 2019. She goes, you are really like, maybe like there's such a thing as too humble sometimes. And I remember I really took her words to heart and I didn't take offense to it. I mean, I typically am not offended by things because I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. I'm always like, oh, that's so interesting. And I remember when I was in 8th grade, there was a burn book. These two girls, Kristen and Lori, wrote a burn book. Like they were so ahead of their time, you guys. They had a burn book before the Mean Girls movie because this was back in like 95. And the thing they wrote in the burn book about me was she can't accept a compliment. That was my burn. And I'm like so grateful for that. Because when I learn about humility and like what humility really is, the opposite of humility is arrogance. And a part of that is the repressive nature of arrogance is deferring, which is like false humility. So it's actually like trying to draw attention to oneself to claim to be the opposite. And like that is absolutely what I was doing as a young kid because I just wanted to feel like I mattered because I didn't. And so I'd be like, oh, here's like a tiny little thing and I'm going to like keep it for myself, but I'm not going to really accept it because then maybe they'll say it more. Like that's really the strategy of that. And so in really examining that, it makes me have such a heart for myself, right? But here's the gift of this whole gene key that I think is so profound. And the whole gene key itself is called sounding your truth. Of course it is. Of course it is, Rosemary. The gift, though, is leadership. And that right there, my friends, is what we're talking about. Because what I know is that if you are watching this right now, you are a leader and you have a voice, but you are also someone I would imagine who's a bit of a reluctant leader. I would call myself that. I have like over and over again my whole life have been a leader. But it wasn't because I was like, I want to be a leader. It was kind of like, nobody's going to do this. Like, okay. And I had vision and I could see, and it was like, all right. But when you understand that life as we know it now, and this comes back around to what I'm going to talk about next. And life is no longer about individual success, but success as a collective organism. This is the direction in which evolution is currently taking us. Okay? So individual leadership is declining while something we've never seen before is also occurring. The collective is beginning to lead itself. And so this is like the DNA transmutation that we are going through as humans. And this is the gene keys. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm so obsessed with this learning and this study. So what I want to say to you is that business in 2026, and this is good news for us, isn't about you. It's not about me. It's about us. It's about we. It's about the collective. It's about being of service. It's about taking the pressure off from being like her, the queen bee, that thing that you didn't want to be, that your parents told you not to be. Guess what? Congratulations, you don't have to be that. But you know what you do have to be? All of yourself, like full to the brim of what is within you. And then you get to bring that to your relationships. You get to bring that to your connection with your community. You don't have to think about all of these things that were coming from the consciousness. And listen to this, okay? The strategic teachings of the past, especially the last like 10 years, but for sure, like it's starting to crack and have a new evolution, has been about individualization, separation, idolization, guru pedestalization. I know if you're watching this, that's not what you are about, nor am I. I'm not interested in it at all. It's just like, that's boring to me. What's really exciting to me is seeing more of you creating what you're here to create and contributing your part, taking your puzzle piece and putting it into the big puzzle. And the way that we do that is by getting over ourselves and having, I like to talk about this sometimes, it's like reverse imposter syndrome, like this weird, like, who am I? And it's sort of like, that's not even the thing, right? It's like, who are you? Well, you're a living being, infinite soul in a physical body in this particular moment in history and time on purpose for a reason. And you have work to do here. That's who are you? That's who you are. That's it. And you have a voice and you have a heart and you have experience to share. And I feel often, I actually wrote about this in my email this morning, and I'll bring that over to Substack later. But I often feel like this sort of weird bird who's just talking about things from a vantage point that most people are like not talking about. And I've come to the recognition that, like, oh, maybe I'm just talking about concepts that other people haven't caught up to yet. And I'm seeing it now because my entire business for the last 12 years has been built so that I work 15 hours a week max, so that when I go host retreats, my family is there and I bring my best friends, so that I'm like literally in love with my clients and I'm walking with them on their path and they stay with me for years and years because we're literally doing this work together, so that my programs have continuity and community and connection and like all of you is welcome here. There isn't this like separation, exceptionalism, like I've never run my business like that. Never at all. And when it comes to marketing and all that, I don't do paid advertising. Everything's organic and it's all relational because business is relational. And now it's so fun to see that the pendulum has swung and people are like, slow living, soft girl era, what matters most? And I'm just over here like, welcome to the party. I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. It's great. It's fun here. We love it. We can make a beautiful living to support the actual life that we're living and have those things all fit together and have it feel so good and have it feel like home. And so that's what I want to offer to you today. I actually want to read a poem for you too. The last piece, okay, I have two more things that I'm really focusing on. Relationships. People you know, people you care about. How are you offering support to them? How are you being the one to reach out? How are you getting out of your little hermit cove and like once a month put some shoes on and some real pants and go be in person with people? Message for myself. Right? We got to go live and breathe together. We need this now more than ever. How can you set up that Zoom date for that person? How can you be really generous? I'm part of a community, my friend Selena Sue, who's actually coming to Homeward tomorrow and doing a training that I'm so excited for. And she has this thing where we do these like generous ask thing, like it's a list and you can put in what you're asking for connection and support with. And I'm offering money code sessions for people in there and a certain number of them because I want to learn, I want to prove, I want to test the method more, but I also just want to connect with people more. And I think like, what could you give this month? You know, like what could you offer? What could you give to people? You don't have to do it to like the whole ocean of people, but you could do it in some special places. And you could make those offerings with no strings attached. What is it like to be uncommonly generous and letting that lead in your business? Okay. And then the last thing is getting specific. I think some of us here are teaching things from the lens of being really broad and really kind of vague. And because of that, It's not that people aren't interested, but they don't understand exactly what it is that you're selling. And so it's like, sometimes when you're walking by a store and you're like looking in the window and you're like, like, I'm not really sure what's going on in there, right? We've got to name what it is. We've got to name and claim what it is. And we got to give a lot of different examples and touch points to talk about how what you do in your work intersects with the known need that your person has, so that it's easier, so that it's like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, money codes, help me out with that. Need help with that, right? Let's go. So those are my bits and pieces. As far as what I'm letting go, I already told you I'm letting go of social media platforms that aren't relevant to me. I'm letting go of formulas and different ideals of how I'm supposed to do things. I'm trusting my intuition fully. And what I know is when I bring more of myself forward, the more magnetic it is, and the more connection gets to happen, and the less stressed I feel, and the more useful I become as a result of that. The more helpful I am. And that's really the mission here. So I am going to read a poem to you from my first poetry book called Paddle Home. Just feeling her today. And I'm going to close us with that. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm like having two here. I think we'll go with this one. Yeah. Okay. I want to leave this one for you, and this feels like a like an offering to take with you. It's called Golden Possibility. Receive the blessing of what holds you, what surrounds you, what's already here. Steady your deep need whispering from the valley of what's yet to be. Commune with the splendor of what is. You are golden possibility in flesh and bone. You were a dream long before you took your first breath. Your very existence is a priceless gift that will give on in perpetuity. Anoint yourself with the crown of your capacity to love. Walk in the majesty of your glorious existence. There are no mistakes in the cosmic order. You are the stuff of miracles and stardust, perfectly made for this moment. All right, my loves. Thank you for joining me for my first Substack Live. The beginning of many. I really love this place. I really love it. I love getting to be here with you and have conscious, intimate conversations. And I appreciate the opportunity to get to do that. If you're new to me and you are interested in exploring business coaching and all of those great things, you can head over to my website at amberliliestrom.com and check it out. I also have a podcast called Homeward, in addition to my Substack called Homeward, in addition to my signature business building program called Homeward. I think we got a term here. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll see you back here next time. Take good care.